I'm Alyssa Dazet, the six-figure acupuncturist, and I went from broke and struggling in my practice to six-figure year after year after year. And now I've helped thousands of acupuncturists all around the world with the success of their practices, and now I'm going to help you too. For the best practice building advice to help you get patients, build a successful practice, and help to heal the world, be sure to hit the subscribe button down there and hit the bell so that you're notified every time a new video comes out on Tuesday. And if you're grateful for the information that's in these videos, make sure you hit that like button and leave a comment down below, because that helps spread this information to more acupuncturists to help raise our profession. There has been so much that I have learned since I first opened my acupuncture practice. Not only through my own personal experiences, but also now from coaching you since 2014. We have learned a lot together. So today we're going to talk about the 4 things that I would do if I started my acupuncture practice again that I didn't do the first time. The first thing that I would do is that I would use an electronic health records system. Everything in my practice was paper. And as the years went on, I had more and more and more and more charts everywhere. Not only were they growing in numbers and taking up a lot more space, but they were also ripping and bending and tearing. Some of the charting would even need to be replaced. If someone was coming to me for many, many years, which most of my patients did because of the systems that I teach in the six-figure acupuncturist program, then sometimes that chart wouldn't even fit any more paperwork in it, and I'd have to start a second chart for one patient. None of these issues happen when you're using an electronic health record system. And now I encourage all acupuncturists that I coach to use EHR from the very beginning of opening your practice. Because also the thought of even switching from paper to EHR after you've been in business for years and years and years and needing to transfer over all of those charts is just plain overwhelming. So even though the electronic health record system can also seem overwhelming when you're beginning that, and it can be very challenging to figure out a new system, in the long run, it is well worth it. Don't let the complications of learning a new system in the beginning stop you from using it. EHR systems have a lot of great training that they offer, so take advantage of that training and learn an EHR system. The second thing that I would do if I started my acupuncture practice over again is that I would rent a spot with 2 rooms instead of 1. Now, I built my six-figure acupuncture practice out of 1 room working 3.5 days a week. When you crunch the numbers, you'll understand how you can do that. And this time around, if I did it again, I would totally rent 2 rooms. And I would either take the same amount of patients, but in half the amount of time, or I would work the same amount of time, take twice the patients, and make twice the amount of money. On the half day that I did work, I actually used to rent my office mate's room, and I did run 2 rooms, and I just worked half the amount of time but took the same amount of patients. So I have done that before. Now, it's a different pace when you go from running 1 room to 2. It takes you being very aware of staying on time, understanding how to manage your time, and understanding how to move the patient along so that they stay on track. These are all the things I teach inside the six-figure acupuncturist course. But 100% I would rent 2 rooms. And I would likely take twice the amount of patients, but in approximately the same amount of time, and make twice the amount of money, which would put it somewhere around a $250,000 practice. Again, when you crunch the numbers, you understand how you can do this. It's honestly not that challenging to make 6 figures in your acupuncture practice. The key is understanding and knowing how to keep your schedule full every time you're in the office, and also without burning out. The third thing I would do if I started my acupuncture practice again is practice better talking boundaries. What I mean by this is that if you have patients coming in long term, month after month, year after year, you get to know that patient very well. And oftentimes, they also get to know you very well too. Interview conversations can get personal sometimes, whether you're sharing something to connect with your patient during their interview process, or they're just asking you about your life in a conversational manner as you're spending time together in the treatment room. An intimate relationship is often formed with your patients, and that's okay. It's a beautiful thing. You want to have open and comfortable relationships with your patients. However, now looking back on it, sometimes there was some oversharing that happened. That could come in the form of sharing the details of a date that I'd gone on, or having a challenging time with something and getting their input on it. Any type of conversation that is really more friendship-based rather than patient-based. Also though, some of my patients did become my friends, and some of my patients were already my friends that became my patients. But still, these were conversations that would better be had outside the treatment room. And so if I started my practice again, I'd be much more aware of saying things like, hey, let's talk about that when we hang out this weekend, or I'll call you later to chat about that. Something along those lines, depending upon the situation. But just so that I kept the treatment room space more about the patient and the treatment and less about the chit-chat. The fourth thing that I would do if I started my acupuncture practice again is use social media to grow my practice even faster. Back when I started my practice, I was barely using social media for my personal life, so it didn't even cross my mind to use it for my professional life. Then when I began my coaching business in 2014, after I'd already had a six-figure practice, I started using social media for that. And simply by a fluke, I started getting in more patients from the social media posts that I were posting about for the coaching business, even though it wasn't aimed at getting patients at all. And I learned a lot at that point as to why it was working and the power of social media to get patients. Since then, I've learned even more, and I've worked with practitioners and known practitioners who have exploded their practices by using social media. But remember, you don't have to use social media. If it's something you don't enjoy doing, don't bother with it. Your energy is better spent doing things on marketing that you enjoy doing. I and plenty of other practitioners have built booming practices without any social media, so it's absolutely not necessary to use. But if you do enjoy creating content, then absolutely use it to grow your practice. And if I started my acupuncture practice again, that's what I'd do. Again, I teach you how to do this inside the six-figure acupuncture course. Let me know in the comments which of these 4 are you going to start using in your practice. Now, there are a ton more things that I would do if I started my practice again, rather than just these 4. And again, I made an entire online course about this, the six-figure acupuncture course. So don't miss that course and check out the link down below. Also, I started a new free Facebook group for practitioners that are ready to get support and make a change in their practice. Apply to join this group by answering the 3 questions that you will find down at the link below. In this group, you will be surrounded by other positive, supportive, non-judgmental practitioners. You will get exclusive trainings from me, and you'll hear about other practitioners who are already succeeding using these systems. It's super inspiring. Keep healing the world and let's mainstream Eastern medicine. I'll see you in the next video.